WWE wrestlers don't have to be gorgeous, model-like competitors in order to have a spot on the show. Of course, Vince would prefer if they were, but it's not always the case. Sometimes they're intentionally hard to look at, particularly if they're going for some sort of strange gimmick. Here are the worst-looking wrestlers in WWE history, starting with Jillian Hall. Jillian Hall was an in-shape and fairly attractive lady when she signed to WWE in 2003. None of that changed when she debuted on TV in 2005, except for the fact that she got saddled with a massive growth on her face as her gimmick. This is when WWE still had no shame in making nearly anything a gimmick, so mocking someone due to a medical issue they had no control over? Bring it on. Eventually, the boogeyman wound up biting the damn thing off her face, so yeah, thanks Vince. Who's this for again? The Bastion Booger. Bastion Booger! Wrestling veteran Mike Shaw first debuted in the WWE as Friar Ferguson, who was a Catholic monk, and yeah, that was the gimmick. The church wound up giving WWE some grief over the gimmick, so apparently as a punishment for his obesity, Shaw was given the new gimmick of the Bastion Booger. And what was that? A really gross guy who would eat buffet levels of food before each match, and then try to hit his finisher, which was just dropping his crotch onto his opponent's face. If the goal was to gross us out, then great, well done. But who the hell was ordering pay-per-views to see this guy? Rikishi. Rikishi was in WWE for a lot longer than many fans think. He actually debuted as part of the Head Shrinkers in 1992 and had a variety of gimmicks throughout the 90s that included an urban dude who wanted to inspire the youth and a Middle Eastern man who was missing his tongue. Eventually, we got to a fat guy who would rub his ass in his opponent's faces, and funnily enough, that's where he saw the most success. As a member of Too Cool, he would dance every night after the match and was insanely popular in late 99 and early 2000, but he's most remembered for the stink face, when an opponent would fall into the turnbuckle and Rikishi would raise the roof, then rub his ass in their face. It was always fun to explain to my non-wrestling fan friends why this was quality TV. The Nasty Boys. Though they are often included in the conversation for most memorable tag teams, the Nasty Boys had no shame in being what their name implied. Straight up nasty. And yes, that could mean villainous or cruel, but the Nasty Boys would frequently shove their armpits into their opponents' faces, spat, and blew snot rockets on the way to the ring. Mullets, missing teeth, and a generally obnoxious attempt to be, well, obnoxious, earns Knobs and Sags a spot on this list. There was a time, however, when they would be included in the top 5 tag teams in North America, so credit to these boys for pulling off a few tag team title runs. T.L. Hopper.
Don't tell me. That's nasty. He's nasty. No. Oh!
Right, so this was during the early to mid 90s when every WWE superstar had to have a real job. Because wrestling can't be their real job, that's boring. No, what's not boring, according to Vince McMahon? A wrestling plumber who would show vignettes of him plumbing with his butt crack out, blowing his nose, getting sweat stains all over his nasty tank top, and bringing a plunger to the ring. Why would he bring a plunger to the ring? To shove it in his opponent's faces, of course. They didn't exactly get one of the maximum male models to portray him either. Poor Daryl Anthony may have been the perfect choice to portray him, as his previous gimmick was Dirty White Boy. The Bushwhackers.
Look at the Fink, along with Luke and Butch. I may be going out on a limb.
Another legendary tag team. The Bushwhackers are fondly remembered today for their ridiculous strut to the ring. What's less brought up about them is how disgusting the gimmick really was. They were missing teeth, meant to live in squalor out in the swamp, and definitely looked like they hadn't showered in months. If that's not enough for you, they used to lick fans on the way to the ring. It would be bad enough if Roman Reigns or The Rock tried to lick me, but these guys, they should have been on a Fear Factor episode. The Boogeyman.
Uh-oh! Oh my! There they are! Handful of worms! Miz, welcome to Smack.
Remember the guy who bit the growth off Jillian Hall's face? Yeah, he wasn't just having a gross moment. This guy lived the gross lifestyle. You gotta hand it to the real-life Martin Wright, as he was originally a contestant on Tough Enough who lied about being 30 years old when he was actually 40. He was instantly cut from the competition, but still found a way to become an iconic WWE character. But why was he gross? The dude used to eat worms. He did a lot of other gross stuff as the Boogeyman, but let's reiterate, he used to eat worms. Not just that, but he'd eat them and then spit them all over other wrestlers' faces. This whole list should really just be a tribute to him. Duke the Dumpster Droze.
He's likely to...
First of all, shout out to the real-life garbage men of the world. You guys do an amazing job, and our cities would be a stinking mess if it wasn't for you. Duke the Dumpster Droze was just a gross idiot. That's all he was meant to be. A garbage man that came to the ring with a garbage can. Take my money, McMahon. You know what was the best part, though? Triple H suffered his first WWF loss to this guy. Yep, Triple H was playing the Blue Blood character and was a little above most things in life, so sticking him in a feud with a garbage man was really satisfying for fans at the time, at least according to Vince. The Godwins. Initially managed by Cletus, who was who TL Hopper turned into, the Godwins were pig farmers slash hillbillies who were, you guessed it, kinda gross. Their appearances were sloppy and they were never gonna win any beauty contests. But the reason the Godwins appear on this list is because they used to carry around pig slop, whatever the hell that is, and dump it onto their opponents. They were a mainstay in the mid to late 90s WWF tag team scene before one of them became The Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness lackey, Mideon. He wasn't done grossing out the WWE audience yet, so he became Naked Mideon. Certain decisions Vince McMahon makes, I'll never understand. Sure, I'm not a billionaire genius booker, and sure, we all make mistakes from time to time, but how was Naked Mideon ever a good idea? Who was the target audience? The gimmick was that he was Mideon, now naked, and no one liked to have him around. He would streak around the arena and then have to wrestle the likes of poor William Regal. I want to hate on McMahon more for this, but he's the same brain that came up with Rikishi's Stinkface. This was around the same time, so why wouldn't another overweight guy showing get over? McMahon must have been getting jealous of all these guys showing their though, because the next entry on this list is Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon, the character, had a lot of gross appearances on TV over the years. There were figuratively gross situations like beating up his daughter, making out with female superstars in front of his handicapped wife, and belittling a one-legged wrestler. But literally gross? Look no further than the Vince McMahon Kiss My Ass Club. Somehow in his genius yet insane mind, Vince thought taking his ass out on camera and having other wrestlers kiss it would lead to a ratings boom. That wasn't enough for him though, as he also once booked himself to receive the ultimate stink face from Rikishi. And he, ladies and gentlemen, is why we know wrestling the way we know it today. That concludes our list of the worst looking WWE superstars in history. Who did we miss? Let us know in the comments below.